Antarctica. It's this continent at the very bottom of our world, just completely shrouded in ice and, mystery. For literally centuries, its secrets have been locked away, which has led to some wild speculation and myths. But what if the real truth is actually even more incredible? Well, let's find out.
I mean, you've heard the whispers, right? All those stories about lost ancient civilizations, secret Nazi bases, maybe even alien tech buried deep under all that ice. So today, we're gonna thaw out the truth. We're gonna really try to answer the question, what is actually hiding in Antarctica?
And, it's really no wonder all these conspiracies pop up. I mean, look at this number. A staggering 98% of the entire continent is covered by a massive ice sheet. We're talking almost 5 kilometers thick in some spots. It's kind of crazy, but we literally know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the actual land buried right here on our own planet.
All right, so first up, let's just dive right in and tackle some of the biggest, most famous legends head-on. The ones that have really captured our imaginations for decades.
Okay, so this timeline is a perfect example of how a few little kernels of truth can just explode into a massive conspiracy theory. So check this out. In 1938, Germany did send an expedition down there to look for a good spot for a whaling base. That's a fact. Then, after the war, a German U-boat surrendered in Argentina. Another fact. But then a journalist comes along, connects these totally separate dots, throws in a ton of speculation, and publishes a book claiming Hitler escaped to a secret base in Antarctica. And boom, just like that, a myth is born that's still around today.
And hey, it wouldn't be a real mystery without a UFO story, right? So back in the 2010s, this weird shape found on Google Earth just went completely viral. You can see it here. It looks like this long skid mark in the snow that ends in this kind of odd oval-shaped thing. And of course, internet sleuths immediately jumped on it, speculating that it had to be a crashed alien spacecraft. So here we have the perfect myth versus reality moment. The internet sees a crashed UFO. A glaciologist, on the other hand, sees something just as dramatic, but, from Earth. It's the scar left behind by a massive avalanche. That so-called UFO was actually just a gigantic block of ice that broke loose and came sliding down the glacier. Pretty cool, but definitely not aliens.
Okay, so those myths are pretty easy to bust, but here's where it gets really interesting. Science has actually uncovered a genuine mystery in Antarctica. And this one, well, it continues to puzzle some of the world's brightest minds.
And it all revolves around these things called neutrinos. Now, the easiest way to think of them is like cosmic messengers. They're these tiny ghost particles that just shoot across the universe, passing right through almost everything, stars, planets, even us right now, without really interacting with anything. That makes them incredibly hard to spot, but if you can detect them, they can tell you all about the crazy cosmic events that created them, even if it happened light years away.
So to try and hunt for these elusive particles, NASA launched this really cool experiment called ANITA. And the idea behind it was just brilliant. They used a massive balloon to lift these super sensitive antennas way up high above the continent, basically using the entire ice sheet below as one gigantic detector. The theory was, when a neutrino coming from space finally smacks into the ice, it should create this tiny faint radio pulse that ANITA could then pick up.
But this is where the real mystery kicks in. ANITA started detecting signals, but they were coming from the wrong direction. Instead of coming down from space, they were coming up from below the horizon. It looked like they had traveled straight up through the entire planet, which, according to everything we know, high-energy neutrinos just shouldn't be able to do. After a 15-year study, scientists concluded that these signals just can't be explained by our current understanding of physics. To this day, they are officially anomalous. How weird is that?
So while that particle physics mystery is still out there, scientists have also been busy, peeling back the layers of ice to see what physical secrets the continent is holding. And let me tell you, what they've found is way more staggering than any myth. Get this, under all that ice, scientists have discovered this huge network of over 400 subglacial lakes. We're talking lakes that have been completely sealed off from the rest of the world for millions of years. And in one of the biggest ones, Lake Vostok, they actually drilled down through thousands of feet of ice and found something amazing. DNA from over 3,500 different organisms, all just thriving down there in total darkness under crushing pressure.
And it gets even bigger. There's an entire mountain range called the Gambrintsefs with peaks over 3,000 meters high. To put that in perspective, that's as tall as the Alps in Europe, but they're all completely buried in ice. I mean, just think about that for a second. a mountain range the size of the Alps that no human eye has ever actually seen.
And all of this incredible stuff is buried under an ice sheet that at its absolute thickest point is a mind-boggling 4,757 meters deep. That is nearly 3 miles of solid ice, just pressing down on this entire hidden world.
So, you might be wondering, how do we know all this? Well, it's thanks to a project called BedMap 3. It is, by far, the most detailed mapping effort ever done down there, combining over 80 million data points from decades of different surveys. It's basically given us X-ray vision, letting us see the continent for the very first time as if all that ice was just gone.
But this amazing new map also came with a pretty alarming discovery. What it showed is that a much larger chunk of the ice sheet than we thought is actually resting on bedrock that's below sea level. And that, well, that makes it way more vulnerable to melting from warm ocean water getting underneath it, which has huge implications for global sea levels.
And you know, the ice doesn't just hide landscapes. It holds the secrets to our planet's deep, deep past. It's basically a perfect frozen archive of Earth's entire history.
I love how one scientist put it, that these ice cores are like our time machines. See, each layer of ice has these tiny trapped bubbles of ancient atmosphere, which means we can get a direct sample of the air from thousands or even millions of years ago.
And just recently, in a spot called the Allen Hills, researchers totally hit the jackpot. They found ice that is 6 million years old. That is the oldest ice ever found. We're talking about trapped air from a time when saber-toothed cats were roaming the planet. It's a glimpse into a world that was fundamentally different from ours.
So why does this matter so much? Well, by analyzing those ancient air bubbles, we can understand what the natural baseline for our planet's climate really is. It shows us how the Earth is supposed to behave under different conditions. And that gives us a very stark measurement of just how far our modern era has pushed us past those natural limits. It really is like a warning beacon from our planet's deep past.
So in the end, we didn't find any secret bases or crashed alien ships. Instead, we found something, I think, that's way more profound. We found hidden ecosystems, entire mountain ranges nobody's ever seen, and a frozen library of our planet's own history. It's just a powerful reminder that when it comes to Earth's last great wilderness, we are truly just scratching the surface. It makes you wonder, right? What other wonders are still down there, frozen and waiting to be discovered?